Good afternoon and welcome to Midday Live from the News Hub. I am Wendy Lai. Coming up this afternoon. Government describes attack on Kwabenya police station as an isolated incident, assuring that the security agencies are working to ensure the general safety of the population. Meanwhile, government says there's no cause for alarm as Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, currently on medical leave in London, is doing well. On a sad note, retired diplomat KB Asante is dead. And on the foreign front, former Footballer of the Year George Weah is to be inaugurated as Liberia's president. We have details of these stories coming up shortly. This is Midday Live, and the government has described the attack on the Kwabenya police station as an isolated incident, assuring that the security agencies are working to ensure the general safety of the entire populace. Information Minister Mustafa Hamid maintained the preventive mechanism of the police service remains intact.
Government condemns the criminal conduct of these elements in the strongest possible terms. There is a manhunt for these criminal elements, and we have no doubt in our minds that they will be brought to face justice. Government takes this opportunity to express its deepest sympathies to the family of the deceased policeman, Inspector Emmanuel Ashilevi. While this is one of the isolated incidents that have unsettled the Ghanaian population, we wish to continue to assure the Ghanaian people that the security agencies are working to ensure the general safety of the population. The preventive mechanism of the police service remains intact, which helps to nip such occurrences in the bud before they become full-blown criminal activity. One such example is the diligence of the police service, which, with the cooperation of the public, led to the exposure of certain people who had in their possession explosives which they could have used to harm the population. The police continues to deploy this preventive mechanism to ensure that criminal elements are arrested before they deploy their activity. As everywhere else in the world, certain criminal elements manage to once in a while beat the system in order to perpetuate their crimes. When this occurs, the police service has worked hard to arrest the perpetrators and make sure that they face justice.
So we're staying a while longer on this very story, and I will be speaking to Adam Bruna. He is a security expert to give his take on the latest developments on this very issue. Good afternoon, sir, and thanks for your time.
Good afternoon, and good afternoon to your cherished. Yeah, good afternoon.
Now, we just had the information minister who mentioned that this is an isolated incident. What's your take on it?
Thank you, and then good afternoon to your cherished listeners. I think I would say I sympathize with the information minister. What else were we expecting him to say? As an information minister, he would have to speak in a manner that probably to try and reassure the public, the bigger public, that everything is okay. But I believe that now Ghanaians are more discerning. We know what is going on, and as you know, I mean, those of us who contribute, and you're larger, those who probably are in this country know what is going on, and so I would say this can never be, swept under the theory of an isolation. It is never true. There are about 5 things I would want you to, the next time you meet the information minister, kindly ask him, or you put it out there. One of them is, he failed to mention in his press briefing today that beginning this year up to date, we have about 4 police officers and military officers, more than that, being shot by criminal elements. And so if he says that that is a case of isolation. Immediately, when the next time you see him, I'm sure he's listening, and probably all of them are watching this interview. Let him know that the entire Ghana Police Service, they have less than 6,000 AK-47s. And I'm putting it, I said it yesterday on your network, 6,000 AK-47s. And so we have just 6,000 AK-47 for the entire police service for our protection. That is what it means. And then when you meet him again, let him know that the police, he did mention the seizure of the grenades, the small explosives. Let him know that the Ghana Police Service does not have a ballistic unit, even though the current IGP has a lot of expertise in ballistics. I know Kofi Boakye has expertise in ballistics. And so the trending, what is trending now in the world is that internal security must have knowledge. We should train our police service in ballistics. And we should through the IGP and his lieutenants to put in a unit so that when they see some of these explosives, they don't put them under neem tree. I'm sure you know when the Odoko police, caught these guys, they left the explosives under a neem tree in front of their, closer to their office. Let him also know that it is only 20% of CID officers, those we call CID, who are trained in Ghana. It means that if there are 100 of them, only 20 of them are trained to the level where you say they are certified investigators. It means that we are not putting in resources to train these people as Ghanaians. Let him also know that budgetary allocations for the Ghana Police Service over the last 10 years has been reduced by 60%. So other countries have gone up more than 1,000%. We have come down by 60%. So please, the next time you meet him in any press briefing, kindly let him know that, you see, some of us will sympathize with the fact that government would have to reassure.
Well, we do have some challenges with our Skype here, but we're grateful to Adam Bruna. He's a security expert, and we're talking to him about matters arising involving the Kwabena police station. We'll bring you some more updates on that story. You're still watching Midday Live, and the chairman of the Interior Committee of Parliament, Collins Amankwa, has condemned the shooting of a police officer and the escape of some suspects at the Kwabena police cells. The MP says the committee will soon rearrange and engage the security services to identify strategies of fighting crime.
What has happened must be condemned by all and sundry. We've called for emergency sitting, as you know. As a committee, we're going to convene a meeting as a matter of necessity and urgency to look into all these crime that we are witnessing, and also to re-engage the security agencies to see the way forward. Well, I think crime is becoming more sophisticated in recent times. And indeed, research has shown that crime keeps on changing in terms of quantitative and qualitative terms. And therefore, we ought to be more proactive. And I think we need to devise new strategy of combating crime in this country.
And to some other stories, minority members of parliament have criticized the office of the president for how it communicated the departure of the vice president to the United Kingdom for medical attention. They asked the presidency to properly inform Ghanaians on such important issues.
The presidency had promised to be forthcoming with medical information after it broke the news about Vice President Dr. Bawumia's medical status last Friday. An earlier statement on social media pointing to the UK trip was described as fake. The communications director, Eugene Ahin, had said an authentic statement would soon be released. The Chief of Staff statement released Saturday morning was signed Friday, January 19, 2018. This raised concerns about whether the Vice President left the country last Friday or whether the date was an error. Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu raised it on the floor of Parliament Sunday.
We can only wish His Excellency the Vice President well. Allah wa ta'ala should grace him with His grace to come back to the office Mr. Speaker, we are not happy with government communicators at the office of the presidency.
Other MPs agreed the presidency could have done better with its communication on such critical issues.
Communication lapse and all that. It is normal for a vice president to go for a checkup or to be flown out or to go to hospital. To me, you don't need to announce that until it is so critical.
But some MPs on the majority side disagreed.
I have no iota of doubt that the communication that emanated out of the Flagstaff House had been tainted or was not done properly.
For others, this brings to bear the challenges with specialist doctors and equipment in Ghanaian hospitals.
There's no doubt when you go to Ridge, when you go to Legon Hospital, when you go to Kolebu and Tamale Teaching Hospitals, we do have facilities and the level of expertise that can take care of almost what we all suffer from. So some of us were taken aback that the kind of ailment he's suffered was so serious that could not be treated in this country.
But a Deputy Health Minister, Kingsley Abwaje Jedu, disagrees.
We had Ghanaian doctors looking after him on the Thursday and Friday, but they, upon their advice, that he had to seek a medical care outside the country.
Meanwhile, government says there's no cause for alarm as Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, who is currently on medical leave in London, is doing well. The Minister of Information, Mustafa Hamid, gave the assurance at a news conference here in Accra.
You are aware that the Vice President of the Republic, Alhaji Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, is currently on medical leave in London. We wish to report that he's doing very well. The Chief of Staff and other senior government officials have been talking to him. God willing, he'll be back home shortly to resume his duties.
And to a rather sad story, Ghanaian diplomat Kweku Asante, popularly known as KB Asante, has died. He died in the early hours of Monday at age 93.
Now I see the African Union as an opportunity for jamborees by heads of state once in a while. They go, there's a lot of color, they go dinners and so on, big speeches, and we stay where we are. No, that was not what Kwame Nkrumah envisaged. African Union would have to cooperate with Europe, would have to work together with United States and so on. But it will be an entity which would promote its interests and the interests of the people of Africa. The minister comes, he is given all the wherewithal to do his work, and he does his work. When he's going, he leaves the car. In fact, the car is never his property. It should never be sold. Now I understand the some of the ministers do not even know. No, selling to them is out of the question. It's a bush way of doing things. It's not correct. Now, if a car, a government property, is being sold, there were procedures. There's proper auction. The auctioneers, and it's valued and it's auctioned. You don't say, sell this to Kofi Mensah. No. It is so all, because you and I, we all contributed to buy the car. So if for some reason it's to be sold, it's sold openly to the public and not necessarily to the minister.
So these were memorable sound bites from the late Ghanaian diplomat KB Asante. And early on, my colleague Komla Kluche was at his residence and brought out some visuals from his end where his body was being carried to be interred. So we'll bring you some more stories and on this very incident as and when we get the details. But away from that, the Forestry Commission is confident of a bright wildlife and ecotourism owing to recent investor interest in most of the reserves across the country. With plans to turn the Shire Hills Reserve into an archaeological research center, the Commission believes the cultural heritage of the people of Shire Osudoku will be properly preserved.
The Forestry Commission's vision of seeking some $10 million investment to upgrade the Shire Hills Reserve to boost ecotourism and make it a distinct tourism destination in the sub-region has seen some massive response.
If we come here in the next 5 years, Shire Hills will be a different place. Yes, we have advertised for people to come and then open up the potential of the area as an ecotourism destination. And we have got investors who have come, and now we are evaluating their proposals, and then we'll start by, say, middle of this year. You see Shire Hills coming up like Mole. If you go to Mole now, you attest to what I'm talking about.
Facilities at the reserve over the years have not seen any renovation due to lack of funds and support. A recent partnership between the University of Ghana and the Wildlife Division of the Forestry Commission has seen some renovations for the establishment of the Shire Hills Museum Complex project and the Archaeology Research Project. Dr. William Nate Blekpo is an archaeology lecturer and spearheading the project.
What we're thinking of doing at this particular location in relation to the research center is to be able to show kids who come to this park and students and researchers that people have lived here way before even Europeans arrived, and the evidence can be seen in ceramics and other material culture here. And also we're hoping that when visitors come, we can take them through archaeological excavation techniques by having hands-on or experiential learning.
Few months down the line, final year archaeology students of the University of Ghana are here to study as part of their field work. Already, some significant archaeological discoveries have been made.
We found several teeth. And when you come to delicate objects like human remains, then you have to be more careful because, for example, this piece like is a part of a skull. And so if you were just digging with a big tool, you were going to end up damaging everything. Okay. And so you can see here, this is a premolar, this is a molar, this is another one. So we are dealing with a human jaw.
More discoveries were made on the steep hills of Shire, where ancestors were believed to have lived.
Here is a labor ward for the ancestors. You see, in the olden days, they don't have clinics and they don't have hospitals. Here is a baby's cot.
That's a baby's cot?
Baby's cot, yes.
The baby's cot over there?
Yeah.
Yes.
And here is where the let's say, the midwife help the woman to give birth. After giving birth, then they put the baby
in the cot.
In the cot, yes.
Students took advantage to learn more about what happened here centuries ago.
Archaeology is very significant in the sense that it goes beyond just written history. And we always complain that our written histories are biased towards Europeans because they left the archives from which we write the histories. What archaeology gives us is the opportunity to revise some of these histories or reinterpreting our past.
Officials of the University of Ghana noted an establishment of a Center for Archaeology, Culture and Biodiversity Conservation will create a platform that will tell a better story of the people.
You'll be doing massive photography.
Nana Kwekwedia, TV3 News, Shire Hills.
Interesting developments there. But away from that story, China's acting ambassador to Ghana says China will continue to award educational scholarship packages to Ghanaians, but cautioned students against overstaying after their studies. Speaking at the first annual general meeting of the China-Ghana Graduates Association, he hinted the laws are structured to take care of those who fail to return home after graduating.
Over the years, China has offered most Ghanaians scholarships to study in different disciplines in China. In 2016, 1,200 Ghanaians were offered scholarships. The number was by far the largest. As a way of strengthening Ghana-China relations, China's acting ambassador to Ghana, Councillor Jayin Zuateng, assured China will continue to improve on the human resource capacities of Ghanaians. Speaking at the first general meeting of China-Ghana Graduates Association, Councillor Jayin Zuateng cautioned against graduates refusing to return to their home countries to serve.
We are encouraging very much those students who are studying in China to come back to Ghana to serve the country, to work for the country. I think if they, overstay or stay without any allowance or permit, I think they will be faced with the regulation enforcement.
He also assured China will expand its industrialization agenda to Ghana and Africa in general to absorb persons with the requisite skills.
Under the framework of the FOCAC, we have discussed on the issue of industrial capacity cooperation, which is about to help the African countries, including Ghana, to speed up its industrialization and efforts.
President of the China-Ghana Graduates Association, Charles Esmond Mawinyaga, noted beneficiaries had acquired a lot and will impact positively on Ghana's development.
Our main aim is to come together and volunteer to society. So be it cultural or economic or training, we have some graduates who have come and are working.
I will be happy to see a lot more young Ghanaians taking courses in the sciences, in mathematics, in agriculture.
Currently, 5,516 Ghanaians are studying in different fields in China.
And efforts at resolving contemporary Ghanaian conflicts have proven futile. Experts have attributed this to the wrong methodologies used in politicization of conflicts in the country. On the other hand, conflicts in the three regions of the north have largely been blamed on poverty. Here's a report by Godfrey Tanam.
Although Ghana enjoys considerable peace, pockets of conflicts, especially in the north, have been a threat to democracy. The northern region especially has largely experienced conflicts over chieftaincy and tribal. Some findings have suggested that although poverty is responsible for the conflicts in the north, in some particular cases it is purely chieftaincy. Now, resolving these conflicts has been a great distress on the nation, but security experts are of the view the methodologies used in resolving these conflicts are not the best. On the part of the Executive Director of Africa Center for Security and Counter-Terrorism, Emmanuel Coutin, not identifying the root causes of these conflicts is a threat to the country's democracy.
I think that democracy is under threat in this country. Why do I say that? What are the dividends of democracy? It's peace, security, and public safety. Are we having it? No. Why have we reduced democracy into elections?
Director of Academic Affairs at the Ghana Armed Forces and Staff College, Professor Vladimir Chidanso, is of the view the nature of politics in the country is one of the biggest reasons conflicts are unable to be resolved.
One of the biggest props of conflicts in Ghana is politics. It's your so-called democracy. Politics. Take any of the conflicts in Ghana and you realize that there is politics underneath. Go everywhere and you see that politics is one of the biggest props, the heaviest of the props propping conflicts in the country.
Both experts do not rule out poverty, which in their view not much has been done by successive governments in dealing with poverty in the conflict-prone areas in the north.
Look at the dam in Burkina Faso. When they started the spillage, you see our farmlands being flooded. Why are we not thinking about an alternative of getting our own version of a dam so that we can harvest water from this spillage, and this water can be used during the dry season like we are having now, where everybody is sitting home, the weather clearly is not good for any farming activities, for some form of irrigation.
Moreover, Emmanuel Coutin has predicted a series of demonstrations in the middle of the year if government does not create employment for the youth.
I'm not a prophet of doom, but I foresee that by the middle of this year, if there are no tangible things the youth can lay their hands on, they'll start demonstrating.
The recent conflicts in Bimbala and Disa in the northern region, which have claimed some lives and destroyed property, have raised questions of the readiness to resolve conflicts.
You're still watching Midday Live, and Habana Medical Services in Tamale of the Northern Region has donated 2,000 cedis to support the 11-year-old boy suffering from multiple disability. Others have also donated provisions and encouraged some more persons to extend a helping hand to the boy.
Salom lost the father when he was 3 months old. The mother also got missing 3 years ago and has since not been found.
So I didn't hear to say high fever, to say bodam. I didn't quite sorry or one gas or two collection. Or two collection. Oh no, sorry, Johnny.
TV3 highlighted the plight of Salom, who is unable to walk and talk. Touched by his ordeal, Habana Medical Services has donated 2,000 cedis to assist in his upkeep. The medical director, Dr. Thomas Anaba, is looking at ways to support Salom to see a specialist.
My brother is disabled from childhood, and I saw how my parents suffered. So anytime I see anybody who is disabled, it touches me. And though I'm far away, I still think that I can also do something to help. And I'm also calling on all medical staff who have the ability to help this child to offer some free service like physiotherapy, locotherapy, and whatever, so that this child can get better.
TV3's visual editor, Hilda Akpalulu, has also donated assorted food items to support Salom. She is making it a responsibility to reach out to Salom with food items monthly. Currently, Salom's condition is improving with the support given him through the benevolence of some Ghanaians, as he can now make a few steps.
Remember to keep your donations coming for Salom. You're still watching Midday Live. Do stay. You're welcome back, and let's head straight to the Ashanti region, where activities, and I mean academic activities, have come to a halt at the Jamal Hassan Senior Technical High School in that very region, following riots by students last night. The students destroyed school property due to the headmaster's decision to ban them from holding entertainment activities. Our reporter in the Ashanti region, Ibrahim Abubakar, is following the story, and he's joining me via phone for some more updates on it. Good afternoon, Ibrahim.
Good afternoon, Wendy.
Now, what's the latest on this story?
Well, the latest is that the school authorities and the Regional Health Education Directorate just completed a meeting, and they have decided that school activities will resume tomorrow. But then today, there isn't much any activity here. But then I can see a number of parents trooping in to take their awards home. They are saying they fear for the safety of the awards. But then a committee has now been set, and they are to report by Friday what indeed generated all this controversy that led to the destruction of school properties. The headmaster's vehicle, for now, the windscreen has been smashed. The students have also destroyed their computer server. It was a new system that has just been established for them. A lot of louver blades too have been destroyed. Indeed, if you go to the headmaster's bungalow, you can see that they try to force themselves in. So they have destroyed the door, the front door of the entrance, and also the burglar proof. They try to pull it in and enter. But then, for the strict intervention of the police personnel, they couldn't go there. So as I'm speaking to you now, we have some armed security men on campus. They are trying to ensure that there is law and order. But then school activity will resume tomorrow.
Now, you've touched on parents coming for their awards and the security presence there, but describe the atmosphere. Is there calmness, and has the school authority sanctioned parents coming for their awards from the schools?
Well, now the situation here is very, very calm. And then I can see a number of the students too with their luggage close to them. And the main entrance has been opened. Some parents have succeeded in taking the awards home, but then some too have not been able, not because the school authorities are preventing them, because the students themselves do not want to go, because the regional education director was earlier here to address the students. She told them that everything is under control and school activities will resume tomorrow. But all the day students have left home. It's left with the few ones who are boarders here.
Thank you very much indeed, Ibrahim Abubakar, for that update. You're giving us some more in our subsequent bulletins. You're still watching Midday Live, and let's do business now.
The business segment is brought to you by
Minister for Employment and Labour Relations, Ignatius Bafwewa, is cautioning the high rate of unemployment within the youth in the country could pose as a security threat. He said although the Ghana Living Standard Survey by the Ghana Statistical Service in recent times pegged the country's unemployment rate as going between 5 to 12% annually, the reality on the ground is worse.
The Ghana Living Standard Survey for the year 2012 and 2013 by the Statistical Service puts the unemployment rate in the country at a marginally higher rate for females, with 2.0% than males at 1.6%. The statistics also put unemployment at 3.5% at urban areas than in rural areas, which had 0.8%. The survey estimates that out of 250,000 young men and women who graduate from the various tertiary institutions to join the labor market every year, only 2% are absorbed in the formal sector, whilst the 98% seek employment in the informal sector or remain unemployed. The World Bank indicated in its 2016 report on jobs in Ghana that about 48% of the youth in the country between the ages of 15 and 24 years are jobless. At the recent encounter with the press at the Flagstaff House, President Akufo-Addo described the youth unemployment situation as a grim story, which is unfortunate.
The sad scenes that were played out in many parts of the country some weeks ago in all the regional capitals of the country. Young people got up at dawn and formed long queues in stadiums and parks in the hope of getting a job with the Ghana Immigration Service. I know it is not a new story. Some 84,000 people applying for jobs, and over 47,000 of them meeting the minimum requirements as advertised, and the organization only looking for 500 people to hire. Similar scenarios are being played out in all sectors of the public service.
However, questions have been raised as to whether government has a clear idea of the youth unemployment situation in the country. Employment and Labour Relations Minister Ignatius Bafwewa says government is currently embarking on a job impact assessment survey to identify how many jobs have been created.
I totally agree that the situation of youth unemployment in the country is a huge problem. Huge in the sense that we get so many people coming out of school at all the levels of education. And all these people that fall out at all the levels ultimately are potential workers. They are supposed to have jobs to do. Unfortunately, we do not have an economy that is so robust enough to be able to turn out various jobs for such persons. Every action of government, to the best of my knowledge, should end up leading to the creation of jobs. Perhaps what we have not succeeded in doing, and which we are trying to do, is to be able to do what we call job impact assessment, to be able to determine how many jobs are created as a result of this intervention of government. We are in partnership with our international friends, ILO, that we are a member of, to be able to develop what we call job impact assessment for every specific action of government.
And let's head to the Bank of Ghana, where that institution has decided to maintain the monetary policy rates at 20%. My colleague Natalie Ford is there, and she joins us via phone now. Hello, Natalie.
Hello, Wendy.
Now, what were the reasons cited for the Bank of Ghana maintaining the rate at 20%?
Certainly. Well, first of all, it's important to outline that, there were concerns about whether it'll be maintained, reduced, or increased. And as you rightly said, it has been maintained at 20%. Well, mainly, the main factor that was attributed to it was ensuring that the inflation target horizon is maintained throughout the year. And the medium-term inflation target for that 8.2% is achieved for this year of 2017. That was the main issue that was attributed to it being maintained at 20%. But there were other factors and other issues that were raised. Taking a look at the performance of the market throughout the year 2017 and the economic activity, which was cited to have been robust and have been on a large scale rather good, and it being expected to be sustained over the medium term, and a favorable external financial conditions working to Ghana's benefit. And so for now, the Bank of Ghana and the committee specifically said that maintaining it at 20% seems like the best move.
Thank you very much for that update, Natalie Ford. And that'll be all for business this afternoon. Thanks for watching. And like you mentioned, let's do international news now. And former World Footballer of the Year, George Oponwia, has been sworn in as Liberia's new president. He takes over from Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. This is Liberia's first democratic transfer of power in more than 70 years. Weah won the presidency after a runoff elections in December with 61.5% of votes. He takes over from Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, Africa's first elected female president, 2 steps down after 2 terms of 6 years each. Weah is the only African to be crowned World Footballer of the Year and the only international sports star to be elected president. After losing his first run at the presidency to Sirleaf in 2005, he spent the last 13 years attempting to gain political credibility to match his wild popularity at home, becoming a senator in 2014. And my colleague Akosia Jafosono is in Liberia as we speak, and she'll tell us a lot more in relation to what's happening there. Hello, Akosia.
Hello.
Now, first of all, tell us about the mood in Liberia.
Hello.
Can you hear me, Akosia?
Yes, I can. Yes.
First of all, can you tell us about the mood in Liberia as we speak?
Okay, I am currently at the Liberian National Sports Region, and that is where the inaugural service is. And the mood here is very strong. Liberians are full of joy. And they are full of expectations, and it looks like it's a key thing as the people's mind, the people's president, and that is the chorus that runs on.
Well, I do have some sound challenges here. Hearing here is a bit difficult, but we'll bring you some more updates on that, possibly in a subsequent bulletins. But still on international news, hundreds of thousands of federal workers will be unable to report to work on Monday as the U.S. Senate struggles to end the government's shutdown. Some will not be paid until the stalemate is resolved. A rare Sunday session of the Senate yielded no agreements between Democrats and Republicans, with immigration one of that main sticking point. Essential services will still run, but And international beauty pageants are known for being very competitive as women from various backgrounds the world over come together to vie for the ultimate crown. However, for Ruth Kwashi, Miss Universe Ghana 2017, being housed with 91 other ladies during the world finals of the competition was the best experience of her life. She shared that with TV3's Solis Rosquarty.
Next to advance is
24 years old, 5'11", and $1 million smile. Ruth Kwashi warmed her way into the hearts of Ghanaians when she became the first Ghanaian to have made the cut for the round of 16 at the Miss Universe pageant in 19 years.
Ghana!
Ghana's Akuba Kuju is... In 1999, Akuba Kuju became the first Ghanaian to get into the top 10.
I heard you say that if you won your national title, you didn't know if you would laugh or cry. But if you won Miss Universe tonight, what would you do?
I'm going to laugh throughout.
She may not have won, but she laughed anyway.
Yeah, I was actually laughing throughout at the backstage. They even had a Snapchat live of me just laughing, not because I made it to top 16, but the fact that I was actually recognized.
People's perceptions about pageants in general is very sketchy. Like it's a front for some sort of an escort service. All the girls think about is how they look and that it's without essence. What's your take?
There isn't much platforms that encourage women and the embodiment of women and how a lady is supposed to act in public and all that. It's not just about looking beautiful. You should be able to be current with the current issues. What is beauty without brains? It's nothing.
With 92 ladies housed at the Planet Hollywood Resort and Casino in Las Vegas, there must have been some friction, right?
It was very surprising. We had no fights. There was no she said, someone said, nothing. It ran smooth. I was like, are these girls faking it? So I was actually waiting for when, you can't fake for too long. I was waiting for when the fake would die off. That was after the preliminary competition, but it was still the same.
The University of Ghana Business School alumnus shared her plans for the future.
Smile Train is as an organization that does corrective surgery for lip and cleft palate. They raise funds for these surgeries to be done because these kids are born with it. There's nothing they could possibly do about it. I'm taking each day at a time. You cannot master your life in one day. There's an amazing life ahead, amazing things to happen, and just keep watching and keep your ears,
And that's all for this afternoon. I am Wendy Lai. Thanks for watching Media Live. Enjoy the rest of our program. Still have a lovely afternoon.